Um, so many of you know that camp has been around for a long time. This is actually its 73rd summer as a Girl Scout resident camp, but obviously before it was, it was still a lot of the same like openness that is still here today. But we started resident camp here back in 1939, and the story that I'm about to tell you is about two girls who were here at the very beginning. You know, camp was very similar as it is today. Still all the beautiful rhododendron, as you can see, they're starting to bloom already. And have you guys seen the blueberries around camp?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like those are on the edge of like becoming very ripe and edible and all of that yumminess. So this story is about two girls who were with their unit. They were here for camp, and they decided that their group wanted to make blueberry pancakes for breakfast. And these two girls, let's call them, well, their names were Charlotte and Heather. And they like to be out in the woods and hike around, do all sorts of fun things together. So they buddied up, because we always take buddies in camp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's safer that way. So they're out picking blueberries, and there were some really nice blueberries out there. And Charlotte and Heather were so excited about the blueberries, and they were having a little competition to see who could collect the most. And as they're going off, Heather she was a newer camper to Mosey Wood, and didn't realize how important it was to always stay with your buddy. She got a little distracted by the blueberry bush that was over here, and she just started picking all these blueberries, and then she saw that bush, and then she had to move on because there was another bush that was way better. And Charlotte was just, paying attention to her bush, collecting her blueberries. The next thing you know, Charlotte looks around. She doesn't see Heather anywhere. So Charlotte runs back to not run, because, you can't run except if you're on the green. Goes back to her counselors, tells them that Heather was so excited about picking blueberries, but she doesn't know where she is. So Charlotte and the rest of her campers and her counselors all went out in the woods, and they're searching for Heather. So as they're walking around, they're yelling, "Heather! Oh, Heather, where are you? Heather!" And Heather was still just picking blueberries, not knowing what's going on. And she looks up at one point while she's picking the blueberries, and there's this huge black bear on the other side of the bush, because she thought those blueberries were very tasty as well. And Heather, she just froze. She couldn't move. She was so scared. She knew that she was supposed to make herself really big and make a lot of noise and scare that bear away, but she was so scared she just froze. And when she realized that the bear was there and she couldn't say anything, the next thing you know, here comes Charlotte to the rescue. And she and all the other girls and leaders made a big circle between her and the bear, and made themselves all look really, really big and really, really scary. And that bear took off because he didn't want to mess with the Girl Scouts, because he understood even back then that the Girl Scouts are a force to be reckoned with. And Charlotte and Heather were reunited as buddies, and Heather was found once again, even though she likes to wander in the woods. They rescued her, and she was safe once again. So the moral of the story is that you should always take a buddy, and that those friends that you make while you're at camp are going to be some of your best friends who are going to be there for you no matter what, and they will be with you for the rest of your life. Tomorrow, before you leave, you'll get a bear scare bracelet, and that bear scare bracelet is to remind you of your friends that you've made at camp. So there's 4 knots on the bear scare bracelet. 1 knot represents you. Okay? On either side of you, there's 4 knots, well, 1 on each side. and those represent your friends. And then the knot that ties it on your wrist represents your bear. Okay? And your bear doesn't necessarily have to be a black bear. Okay? It could be anything. It could be an evil math teacher giving you a pop quiz. It could be a bully at school who's been picking on you and just annoying you and making you feel bad. It could be your mom telling you to clean your room for, the 100th time that week, because you are a firm believer in the universal shelf, which is the floor. It holds absolutely everything. I was a firm believer in the universal shelf when I was growing up. And it could be your little brother being annoying and just not leaving you alone when all you just want to do is sit and relax and do things on your own. So your bear can be absolutely anything that's giving you problems. Just think back and remember about all of your friends that you made while you were here at camp, and just remember that there's always people there to support you. The other thing that I didn't mention yet is that you're going to get beads on your bear scare bracelet. Between you and your friends, there's going to be beads in there. And the beads signify how many years you've been coming to camp. Even if it's your first year, you're going to get 2 beads, because you always need to take a buddy. And there'll be one on either side of you and yes. So, how many of you have been coming to a GSCP resident camp for, this is your very, very first summer?